What's up, everybody? The Amazing here, bringing another review. This time is of the SH Figuarts Rock Lee from Naruto Shippuden. So, Shippuden. I don't know why I said Shippuden. Whatever. Anyway, here to bring you guys a review. First and foremost, I want to start by saying I was excited for the figure, and sort of my excitement was killed by one lackluster feature of the figure. Overall, it's great, but it's one thing that really kills it for me. So I'm gonna go over everything first, and then go over that. And the reason why I'm saving it for last is because there's a lot of stuff to kind of go over with that. Articulation wise, which is the first thing I always cover, this figure is great. It covers most things like Kakashi and fixes a few of those issues. And it just has overall, it's a good start. So what happened was you can actually pull these out on Rock Lee. The ball joint can actually rotate in many different directions, which allows for a great movement considering, he's wearing knees that are different than Kakashi. So even if you don't put it all the way in, you can maximize your articulation by just, playing around and having it not all the way in. Then, if you want, push it all the way in, still have it. Not as much as it was when you pulled it out, but obviously, yeah. The waist joint is really nice. You can bend it forward, you can bend it sideways. The ring will come up to allow us no paint rub. As you can see, I'm doing a ton of stuff with it. You can even kick, do the sideways kick, and that's one thing I'll cover with the falling face thing. I'll cover that in a second. You can do jumping kicks. Arm rotation is amazing because SHF it tries to give you the best of that. So you can rotate it all the way out. There's even a small butterfly joint that allows you to bring the arm over a bit. There's bicep swivel. It's double jointed as far as possible. And there's wrist ball joint rotation. Everything from the lower body all the way up to the neck is great. It loses a bit of the forward ab crunch, but that's still fine. My huge problem, and the reason why I'm going to cover it last, is in the neck area. It's the one thing that kills the figure. And the reason why is because the collar kills all articulation on the head. The head itself is its own problem, but the articulation on the collar is killed. But I digress, is that you can actually remove the collar, which I'm attempting to do now without removing the head because it's going to be a bitch to do otherwise. But I'm going to have to do it anyway. So I'm going to have to pull the whole neck joint out and remove the collar. Now, it doesn't always come out like this. I just happened to get lucky during the actual review. I had to test it a few times. I'm going to pop it back in. And as you can see, I think it actually looks a lot better this way. That fallen head thing, that's a killer. So, I wanted to leave it off, but I'm going to leave it on for a reason. So, alright, now that's just being funny. So I'm going to leave it off. And the reason why it is because it doesn't kill the articulation. But the head thing falling off, it's extremely annoying. As you can see, it happened twice in a row to me. It's a huge problem. And that being said, it's just the collar and the neck joint is just outrageous. It's incredibly loose because you're supposed to swap it all the time. Now, with the part swapping, they give you an entire extra neck that you literally have to break down, take apart, take everything off, and leave the green piece to swap the head on every time. This is a real inconvenience because what happens is you have to switch the neck joint every time, which loosens the neck joint over and over and over. So I'm pretty much avoiding doing that. But what happens is when you do that, you don't get a real feel or consistency for, the the 8 gates head. Sorry. So it's really annoying. So as you can see, it doesn't look as good. I mean, you can hide it pretty well, but you want to be consistent for obvious reasons. And let me just pop it off. To remove this, and it's going to be a real, bummer to do it, so I'm not going to do it. You actually need to split it in half to cause paint chip here. And you want to remove it by pulling this out forward. And after you take the green part off, I'm going to do that now. Yep. Actually, it's not even coming off, and I don't want to, damage it even further. So the back part here, you're actually going to take out and lift up. And it's actually been, this is the one thing about the figure that actually is a huge pain. And I can't get over how badly and poorly that was designed. Meanwhile, everything else is absolutely great about the figure. So I've decided to keep the collar off because it keeps the articulation really mobile and I rather enjoy that than keep the collar on and just make it look crazy. It just doesn't work for me. So as far as head faces, you get the martial arts head, and one of the infamous heads he's known for is the drunken master head. It's really dope. And you get the gates head. You just get this one. You don't get any other reaction one because this is the one you generally see, which is really cool. You also get open palms, his martial arts palms. You get the battle palms where he hits the floor, touches things, try to grab you, do drunken master. You get 2 thumbs up palms, which is really dope. Thumbs up. And then when you get the gates open or you swap the neck, you get these hands. These are the only hands you get for the gates, which is kind of a bummer, but I realize he doesn't use many other hands. Now the neck piece, like I said, it separates. This is very tiny. There's already paint chip on it to begin with, but you cause more every time you try to swap it out. And it's 2 pegs for the front. That's how you know it's the front. And there's 1 rectangular peg for the sides. For the back. The other thing is for the gates, because Rock Lee has open toes, you can actually swap out the feet for the gates. So they make sure it's as accurate as possible. One is for the gates, one is not. I'm actually going to leave that on. I'm a little lazy. Now, height-wise, Rock Lee, I'm going to compare him with the others that are released with the exception of Minato. I couldn't find where I put that box. Kakashi still towers over pretty much everyone right now. Oop. Naruto's always being a jerk. So Rock Lee's actually in a good spot, where everybody else is still a little shorter. But Kakashi definitely does tower over everyone. Even Itachi, he towers over them all. See, Kashi's barely fitting in the screen. But I think Rock Lee fits in well for his size and his bulk. And he has a similar body to Kakashi, but not the same. So that it's not the same body. He's actually smaller. Now comparing with other lines though, Rock Lee is smaller than Deathstroke. So he's obviously smaller than the Marvel Legend because Kakashi is gigantic compared to the rest. And with another SHF, he's still a bit smaller because he's a teenager, I believe, if I remember correctly. So this is where he's at with that. Overall, I really like the figure, but the whole neck joint thing is a huge bummer. And it turns me off to actually wanting to swap things out. It makes me want to just buy another figure to leave in that form at all times because it's just a pain to remove the neck piece every time, and the collar is just such a hindrance. Overall, though, if you're a huge Naruto fan and you like Rock Lee, I still say you should get the figure. It has tons of mobility. It looks great otherwise. It's just, the part swapping is just a real bitch. And that's sorry to say that. Overall, still good though. But that's a huge letdown. Just a bad overall design in my opinion. In the meantime, though, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. Hope you guys have been drinking your water. Hope you're being good. Most of all, staying out of trouble. In the meantime, I'll catch you later.